If you want to be healthier, yet you just don't know what to do, all these shows telling you this and that, but nothing seems to work. Well, listen close. Golden State Media Concepts has got something great for you. The Health and Wellness Podcast dedicated to workout trends, healthy eating habits, diet, and everything about healthy living. Join us in our banters as we help you not just live life to the fullest, but live it to the healthiest.
Hey guys, and welcome to GSMC Health and Wellness Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Cynthia, and happy Monday, everyone. I hope you all are having a great start to your week, a great start to your day. I had such a relaxing, low-key, fun little night out. No, not night out. I was actually a night in, but for me was kind of out because I went to my boyfriend's house. Anyway, it was a really nice, relaxing night in. It was his birthday yesterday, and I went to go over and celebrate his birthday. Just us two, by the way, so don't be alarmed. There was no fiesta or anything like that. Just us two. We wanted a low-key, quiet night in just to spend some alone time together. We are in a long-distance relationship, so for all of my couples out there in one as well, you know how it is. So we just wanted something low-key, spend some quality time, eat some good food. We ordered takeout from this really bomb seafood place in the Bay Area, and we ordered crab legs. Oh my God, my mouth is actually watering thinking about crab legs. Crab legs is the sole reason, you guys, I cannot go 100% plant-based. I just physically cannot get myself to give up crab legs. Like, I don't know if there's vegan crab legs. I don't know if that's up to par with the real deal, but if you guys know, have tried it, let me know in the comments, because you guys, literally, I cannot give up crab legs. Like, crab legs over anything else. I'm obsessed. Cajun style. Oh my God. Literally, I have to stop. We have to move on because my stomach is going to start growling and I can't be extremely hungry while I'm doing this episode. So we ordered that. Great night. Watched a movie, and it was just really nice to spend some alone time. So that was basically my weekend, and I hope your guys' was just as great. Chill, fun, whatever it is that you have desired for your weekend to be. So I talked about this a little bit in last week's episode, how here in California they have mandated that all fitness centers reclose their doors again, which is really sad and disappointing, but I also understand why they're doing it with cases spiking up and whatnot. And what's kind of alarming to me is that with all, throughout these past months, we've been dealing with this global pandemic. I haven't really seen a lot of media emphasis on explaining to people how exercise helps build immunity. Like, it's scientifically been proven that when you work out and you engage in regular exercise, whether it's hardcore lifting or like a walk around your block, that literally builds your immunity. And I feel like a lot of our health experts haven't been emphasizing this fact to the public. You can take vitamin C, zinc supplement or whatever, do all of that, but also engage in regular exercise. Something moderate, doesn't need to be anything super extreme or hardcore. And that's basically what I want to dedicate to today's episode. I want to talk about exercise and immunity and how they're linked together and how they can help us fight this pandemic that we're all going through. We all know how to protect ourselves against, coronavirus by now frequent hand washing, social distancing, and to an extent maintaining a balanced diet to keep your body as healthy as possible. But another very important aspect of supporting your overall health can also come in handy right now to boost your immune system, which is, regular exercise. Of course, with schedules all over the place and gyms closed, some gyms open, I don't know. Lacing up your sneakers for a run can sometimes feel like the last thing you want to do, right? I know, I'm like that. But the simple act of moving your body more can provide a powerful tool for fighting infection. And what's the catch? Not all exercise is entirely helpful to your immune system, especially with the new viral threat lurking outside. So to explain the connection between exercise and immunity, I've sourced the science and I've did my research about, experts who have studied exercise's effect on the immune system specifically. And here's how to make most of your workouts for your overall health, particularly during a pandemic. So we're going to first discuss, can exercise boost your immune system? Then later we'll get into what's the best type of exercise to boost your immunity, and can exercise harm your immune system at all? So we're going to answer a lot of the frequently asked questions that health experts receive, and we're going to discuss it all on today's episode. So definitely stay tuned from beginning to end. So let's address the first thing. Can exercise boost your immune system? Even with shelter in place and stay-at-home orders set up across the country, top officials like the CDC and WHO still encourage regular exercise, and for good reason. In addition to improving your mental health, a 2019 scientific review in the Journal of Sport and Health Science found that exercise can improve your immune response, lower illness risk, and reduce inflammation. The study looked at acute exercise, meaning that of moderate to vigorous intensity lasting less than an hour. And the study mainly examined walking, but that could also mean an elliptical workout, a spin class, or even a run. So some type of cardiovascular activity. Study author David Neiman, a professor in the Department of Biology at Appalachian State University and director of the university's Human Performance Laboratory, tells Health magazine that typically people only have a small number of immune cells circulating around the body. Those cells prefer to hang out in lymphoid tissues and organs like the spleen, where your body kills viruses, bacteria, and other microorganisms that cause disease. I know I'm getting real nerdy here for you guys, so bear with me. Because exercise increases blood and lymph flow as your muscles contract, it also increases the circulation of immune cells, making them roam the body at a higher rate and at higher numbers. That's what Dr. David Neiman says. Specifically, exercise helps to recruit highly specialized immune cells such as natural killer cells and T cells, find pathogens like viruses, and wipe them out. In Dr. Neiman's 2019 review, participants who took a 45-minute brisk walk experienced this uptick of immune cells floating around the body for up to 3 hours after the walk. So you don't need to do anything extremely rigorous. You don't need to go take a CrossFit class. I mean, even if you wanted to, I don't think you can because gyms are closed. All it takes is 30 to 45 minute walk, brisk walk, to get these immune cells floating around the body to fight off pathogens like viruses. While you do get an immediate response from your immune system when you exercise, that will eventually go away unless, that is, you keep working out consistently. So if you go out for 45 minutes of exercise the next day, this all happens again. And it all adds up as time goes on, right? So that's why regular exercise is really important. You can't just do a 45-minute brisk walk on a Monday and then not do it again for the following Monday and expect for your immune system to be, up to par and through the stars. So you guys, we're going to come to a very brief break right now. And when we come back, more on how exercise can boost your immunity.
Are you looking to learn more about the latest trends from the fitness world? Are you confused by all of the different trends that are out there? The GSMC Fitness Podcast is the place for you. The GSMC Fitness Podcast is the place to come for people of all skill and interest levels. Join us as we explore the latest trends in the fitness world. Does that new exercise really work? Should I try yoga? Whatever your question, chances are good you'll find an answer on the GSMC Fitness Podcast.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to GSMC Health and Wellness Podcast. So we're going to continue on with the discussion of how exactly exercise and immunity are linked together. How exactly does exercise boost our immunity, especially during this time of us trying to fight off coronavirus? And I just explained to you guys how regular exercise can uptick this experience of immune cells floating around your body for up to 3 hours after, say, a 45-minute brisk walk. However, this only happens as an immediate response from your immune system that will eventually go away. So to keep at it, you have to be consistent and consistently work out. In fact, another study from Dr. Neiman and his team, this one published in 2011 in the British Journal of Sports Medicine, found that those who did aerobic exercise 5 or more days of the week lowered the number of upper respiratory tract infections like the common cold over a 12-week period by more than 40%. That's pretty impressive. So aerobic exercise has its benefits. Think of the lasting immune effect of exercise like this. And this is how Dr. Neiman explains it. Say you have a housekeeper come over to clean your house for 45 minutes most days of the week. The house will look, a lot better on that first day than if someone never came. But the more frequently the housekeeper comes back, the better and cleaner the house will look. So this is the same thing with exercise. Exercise really is a housekeeping activity, quite literally, where it helps the immune system patrol the body and detect and evade bacteria and viruses. So you can't necessarily, exercise one day here and there and sporadically and expect to have an illness-clearing immune system. That's not how the body works. So come back for more movement on the regular, though, and your immune system is better prepared to wipe out sickness-causing germs. And this holds up even as you get older, according to another 2018 review article published in the Journal of Frontiers in Immunology. So you have to keep at it, guys. You can't just sprinkle workouts here and there and expect to have the most amazing immune system, okay? Like I said, it's just an immediate response that lasts for a few hours and then it goes away. So if you want to, you got to keep up with the house cleaning of your immune system and regularly exercise. Like I said, 30 to 45-minute brisk walk is really all you need. Another benefit of exercise is that it decreases inflammation in the body, which in turn can also improve immunity. In fact, some research, like the 2004 study in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society, links decreased levels of inflammatory markers to those that exercise more often and have higher fitness levels. And Dr. Neiman says that goes hand in hand with immunity. When immune cells try to function with inflammation, it puts the immune system in a chronically inflamed state too, which makes it harder to fight infection. So to cut down on inflammation, you got to kick up your activity level. So it's like you're killing two birds with one stone, right? Your exercise helps decrease inflammation and helps build up the immune cells that fight off the pathogens like viruses in your body. So just those two amazing benefits alone, not even including what it does for your mental health and all that other good stuff, should be a big enough motive for you guys to regularly exercise, right? I know that's a big enough motive for me to exercise daily. So with that being said, we got into how exercise and building your immune system are linked. Let's get into what's the best type of exercise to boost your immunity. Most studies, including Dr. Neiman's, looked at aerobic activity. Again, think of activities like walking, running, or cycling. To gain the benefits, it's best to push the pace a bit when walking. For most people, we're talking about a 15-minute mile, okay? 15-minute mile. That's like the average pace that led to promising results in the study. And you guys, a 15-minute mile, I feel like a lot of people can do. That's sufficient stimulus to recruit immune cells into circulation. For other forms of exercise, aim to reach about 60% of your VO2 max or about 70% of your max heart rate. And if you have like a heart monitor, such as like MyZone or maybe like your Apple Watch, it'll tell you your max heart rate and, your percentage of effort that you put into the workout. I use one and I actually really like it because it'll tell me, what was my average, what was I pushing, what's my percentage, and all of that good stuff. There's less science on high-intensity interval training workouts or HIIT workouts, a popular type of exercise, and whether they help your immunity. One small study from 2018 in the journal Arthritis Research and Therapy, focusing on arthritis patients, said that it can improve immune function, while another 2014 study in the Journal of Inflammation Research found that HIIT workouts don't lower immunity. In general, Dr. Neiman says interval workouts are likely okay. Our bodies are used to this back and forth nature even for a few hours, as long as it's not unrelenting high intensity exercise, he says. The same goes for strength training. It likely helps your immune system, but there's less research and recent studies backing up its benefits on immunity. Adam Jatner, PhD, CSCS, Assistant Professor of Exercise Science and Physiology at Kent State University, who has also studied exercise and the immune response, touts resistance training as a smart strategy for improving immunity. However, he does caution against severe muscle-damaging workouts like lifting super heavy or doing eccentric exercises, meaning exercises in which you focus on slowing down the downward phase of a movement. So say you're doing a bicep curl, right? The upward motion of a bicep curl when you're flexing your muscle, that's the concentric phase. The eccentric phase is the lowering portion. So when you're lowering those dumbbells away from the body in a bicep curl, that's the eccentric phase, the downward phase of the movement. So that he says that take a lot of caution against severe muscle damaging workouts like eccentric focused workouts, so that the muscle repair process doesn't compete with your immune function. So unless you've regularly been keeping up with the workout like CrossFit, right now, probably not the time to start a new high impact strength routine. Right now is just focus on movement, getting, healthy, staying healthy, not so much of pushing your limits right now. So with that being said of the exercises or what exercises are best for building your immunity, in a nutshell, aerobic activity like walking, running, or cycling are the best ways to gain the benefits to boost your immunity. And again, we're talking about at least a 15-minute mile. So that could be walk that mile in 15 minutes, slight jog, brisk walk, finish that mile in a 15-minute pace, which again, I think a lot of people are able to do. Things like HIIT and strength training, it's likely to help your immune system, but there's less research and less studies backing up its benefits on immunity. So just keep that in mind. So with that being answered, let's move into, can exercise harm your immune system at all? Are there specific training styles that can actually do more damage than good? Like all good things in life, science says you can overdo exercise. Pushing yourself too hard for too long can actually put you at higher risk of infection, but you have to go pretty far past that acute level of training to experience those negative side effects. For example, most studies that found that extreme exercise can increase risk of illness examine marathon runners like Dr. Neiman's 1990 study published in the Journal of Sports Medicine and Physical Fitness. But Neiman says this negative effect can come into play if you're running at a high intensity for at least a half marathon distance or cycling or swimming at a tough pace for about 90 minutes. Any of these longer, more intense activities can cause stress on the body that could lead to lowered immune function instead of a boost, right? You put yourself in a stressful state, so your immune system reflects that and leads to dysfunction that can last anywhere from a few hours to a few days. Basically, high intensity activity for more than an hour might not be the best idea right now if you're really focusing on keeping your immune system into tip-top shape. So anything an hour or more, not likely going to help you. So try to keep those workouts under an hour. And Dr. Jatner agrees as well with Dr. Neiman that spending weeks incorporating super high intensity workouts into your schedule could backfire. If you're looking at exercise in a chronic sense, there's something we refer to as the J curve over time. As you continue to exercise at a moderate intensity for weeks to months, your risk for infection will decrease, says Dr. Jatner. But if you do excessive and intense exercise, you increase risk of infection. So you guys, I'm going to come to a very brief break right now. And when we come back, more on, can exercise do more damage than good?
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Hey guys, and welcome back to GSMC Health and Wellness Podcast. So we're still continuing on with the conversation of, can exercise harm your immune system? And we have stated already that very intense, high intensity exercise lasting for more than an hour is going to do more harm than good. So exactly how long and how hard you can push yourself before you reach that excessive and intense level of exercise ultimately comes down to how well you're trained. But you might want to focus on maintenance rather than intensity in these pandemic times. Moderate intensity is the best route right now, but maintaining that activity in some form or fashion is going to be key. So again, right now during this pandemic is not the time to go really crazy with their workouts, really intense, trying these lifts that you are not experienced with. So stick to what you know, what you've been training with pre-quarantine, and just focus on, again, movement, staying healthy, maintaining. That's really the key right now. So the bottom line from all of this is that moderate exercise can boost your immunity right now, but don't overdo it. Dr. Neiman views this pandemic as a golden opportunity to start a regular walking program, a time to nail down the habit of frequent physical activity, while other lifestyle habits like eating fruit, managing stress, and getting quality sleep can also help reduce risk of illness. Dr. Neiman says exercise is potentially the most powerful habit that people can adopt right now as we're coping with this new and novel virus. If you're super new, beginner level to exercise and have your doctor's approval to start a fitness program, Dr. Jatner suggests going out for even just 10 minutes. 10 minutes, 2 to 4 times a day. Then work on gradually increasing that time. Or try a low-impact workout at home if you're in a crowded city and have fewer opportunities to get outdoors. Low impact, such as bar, yoga, Pilates, things of that nature. Even if you are exercising, don't forget that your best defense against getting COVID is limiting your risk of catching it by practicing social distancing and frequently washing your hands. Reducing your exposure to the virus is number one. It rises above everything. And social distancing and maintaining good hygiene must always be paramount. But I can't emphasize the importance of everyone being healthy and focusing on good immunity right now, okay? Like, immunity is absolutely everything and anything. And without a strong immune system, it literally just, everything else tends to break down. So with all that being said, again, we covered that, yes, exercise can indeed boost your immunity in terms of low impact aerobic activity like brisk walking, running, and cycling. Those can absolutely boost your immunity, and things like strength training and HIIT cardio, they are likely to boost your immunity, but there's not a lot of science or studies backing that claim up. But it's likely that they do. Can exercise harm your immunity? Yes, if you overdo it, you absolutely can push your body to the absolute limit, to the point where it breaks, and that will cause you to damage your immune system and make it overwork rather than boost it. So again, just be mindful of not doing anything incredibly high intensity for over an hour. Keep it under an hour. And also, what's the best type of exercise to boost your immunity, which we covered as well, aerobic activity. So bottom line, moderate exercise can boost your immunity right now, but don't overdo it. So most of you are working out at home, getting your fitness in at home. So I want to now share with you guys 10 dumbbell workouts you can do right in the comfort at your own home, okay? The pandemic might be keeping you from the gym, but it doesn't mean that your entire workout routine should be canceled too. In fact, doing some resistance training or any type of exercise for that matter will help keep your sanity, okay, and safeguard your health. And luckily, you don't need a whole lot of fitness equipment to get in a serious lift session. Trust me, you guys, for the 3 months I was in quarantine, I was working with 10-pound dumbbells, and trust me, I was sore with those babies. Sore. You just have to know how to create the right amount of tension in your muscle, and of course, proper form and technique is always very important when lifting. With a pair of dumbbells, there's no limit to what you can do. Whether your goal is to build muscle size or increase lean mass and tone up, dumbbells are a trainer go-to for a reason. 1, dumbbells don't require much space. They can be used for a variety of movements, including strength and conditioning. And dumbbells are also easy to add to body weight workouts for additional load, making the movements more challenging and effective in increasing strength and muscle tone and progressively overloading, which is important if your main focus is to build muscle size. Because picking up a set of weights on the regular is so good for you, here's a head-to-toe dumbbell workout that you can do at home. If you're a beginner, I recommend choosing a moderate weight and paying special attention to that form throughout your workout, okay? I honestly would recommend you performing the workout simply body weight, no equipment. Once you have the body weight form down, then add weights in. I do this with all of my clients. For instance, like in a squat, before I even give them a couple of dumbbells to use in a squat, I want to see how their squat looks like without any weight, just body weight. Then from there, I can dictate whether we are ready to move on to weights, move on to barbells, etc. Cut back on your weight if your form is failing, okay? Form over anything, you guys. Form over how much you're lifting. Drop the ego and focus on form and proper technique. If this is not challenging you at all, you will want to consider adding reps, a tempo, or even additional sets. FYI, by tempo, I mean, slowing things down, increasing the time your muscles are under tension to help you perfect form and make the exercises more challenging. For the workout that I'm about to read off to you guys, complete 8 to 10 reps of all 10 moves below, resting for 30 seconds between each move, and do 2 to 3 sets of the entire workout, resting for about 30 to 90 seconds between each set, okay? So the first one is a suitcase reverse lunge. This highly functional move will remind you how to properly carry a heavy bag of groceries up a flight of stairs. And yes, there's a way to avoid the aches and pains of doing this. But here's the thing. A suitcase carry is more than just grabbing and lifting the weight off the ground. Engaging your triceps and forearms will enhance your grip and put less pressure on your shoulders, allowing for stronger and more efficient movement. A common mistake with reverse lunges is not stepping back far enough and having all of your weight on your front foot. To avoid this, focus on lowering your knee right under your hip as you step back. And when stepping back up out of the lunge, drive onto or into your front foot to stand back to the starting position. So I'm going to break it down for you guys as in how to. So you start with your feet hip width apart, hold a dumbbell each hand, arms at your sides, stand tall with your chest proud and shoulders down and back. Grip the dumbbells tight with your palms facing in so you're flexing your triceps and the weights are at your side, not touching your thighs. Then, keeping your chest tall, take a big step back with your left leg and lower into a lunge with your front and back legs, forming a 90-degree angles in the front leg and in the leg that's dropping down. Your front thigh should be parallel to the ground and knees stacked over your ankle, while your back knee lightly touches the floor with your toes and heels aligned. Press your right foot firmly on the floor and push off of it to straighten your legs and step your left foot back to the starting position, and then repeat on the other side. So you guys, I'm going to come to a very brief break right now, and when we come back, more on the 10 total body dumbbell movements you can do in the comfort of your own home.
The GSMC Life and Happiness podcast takes you on a journey of exploration. We'll discuss tried and true methods alongside the latest trends of how to best live your life to its fullest and happiest. From psychology to meditation, science to self-help books, the GSMC Life and Happiness podcast will help you to discover what makes you happy and how you can live life being the best you possible. Download the GSMC Life and Happiness podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
What's up, you guys, and welcome back to GSMC Health and Wellness Podcast. So we're moving straight into the next exercise for the total body workout that you are able to do with dumbbells in the comfort of your own home. And the next one are plank rows. By working your back and core, as well as your legs and glutes, plank rows are a great test in anti-rotation, unilateral strength, meaning working on one side of the body at a time, and spinal stability. Remember to keep your hips square throughout the entire movement and avoid lifting one hip higher than the other. This is something really common that I see with a lot of clients is when they lift the arm up, the hip tends to lift higher. So the whole point is to keep those hips leveled and stable. When performing rows, focus on initiating the movement from your back and not your arms. Think about pushing one hand into the dumbbell as you pull the other dumbbell up towards your hip with that rotation. So again, I'm going to give you guys the how-to right now. So holding a dumbbell in each hand, start in a high plank position with your shoulders stacked directly over your wrists and feet just outside of your hips. Tuck your pelvis in to brace your core and tighten your glutes. Press your right hand into the dumbbell on the floor and pull the left dumbbell toward your left rib cage, squeezing your shoulder blade toward the middle of your spine and keeping your elbow close to your side. Then place the dumbbell back on the floor and repeat on the other side. And that is how you perform a plank row. Next exercise we have here are front squats. So if you're looking to take your body weight squats to the next level, front squats are an excellent example of compound exercises because they access multiple joints and muscle groups at once. Here, you're racking the dumbbells at your shoulders, allowing your front delts to assist in bearing the load. Keeping the dumbbells in this front rack position also keeps your back more vertical and prevents your chest from caving forward as you squat, forcing you to recruit your core. Something that a lot of people have a lot of issues with when performing like a back squat. It's crucial to utilize your breath in this move, and I'm so big on breathing and proper breathing because, yes, your breathing can mess up your entire workout routine if you don't know the appropriate times to inhale and exhale. So you take a breath into your belly at the top, holding it as you lower into your squat, and you exhale as you press to stand. Focus on pulling your hips back and down into the squat and driving your elbows up to keep your chest tall as you lower. Depending on your mobility, the goal is to keep your hips or to get your hips below your knees. but only if you're able to maintain proper form and avoid, your rounding back or your chest collapsing forward. So here's the how-to and how to properly perform this exercise. Holding a dumbbell in each hand, rest one end of the dumbbell on top of your shoulders, stacking the weight over your wrists with elbows facing forward. Stand with your feet slightly wider than hip width apart and tighten your core. Keeping your chest tall, push your butt back and down and sit into your heels until your thighs are parallel to the floor or your hips are below your knees. Avoid your knees to flare out to the sides or to cave toward your midline. You should focus on keeping knees stacked over your ankles. Press your feet firmly on the floor to straighten your legs and stand back up. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you properly perform a front squat. Next, we have a single arm half kneeling press. So you're taking your standing shoulder press to a half kneeling position, and is not only ideal for people new to the exercise, but it also serves as a helpful refresher to those looking to increase their load. In a standing position, it's easy to lean away from the weight as you press it overhead, but a half kneeling position ensures that your shoulders remain stacked over your hips and that you're shifting weight evenly on both sides. It also forces you to engage your core and avoid generating power from your legs to press the weight overhead, which is, again, very common. So keep your body tight and exhale as you press the dumbbell directly up, finishing with your biceps by your ear. So here's a how-to on how to perform the single arm half kneeling press. So hold a dumbbell with your right hand and rest one end of the dumbbell on top of your shoulder, stacking the weight over your wrist and elbow facing forward. Take a step back with your right leg as you would in a reverse lunge and rest your knee on the floor with your toes tucked in. Your front thigh should be parallel to the ground and knees stacked over your ankle. Keep your hips square. Bracing your core and engaging your glutes, press the dumbbell directly overhead, finishing with your biceps by your ears. And you can make a fist with your left hand and extend your arm in front of you to help keep your shoulders square. Avoid shrugging your working shoulder by packing it down as you press the weight overhead. Lower the dumbbell back to your shoulder with control and then repeat on the other side. And that is how you perform a single arm half kneeling press. Next is one of my favorites, and it's thrusters. So this heart pumping move combines a front squat and shoulder press into one continuous flow. Use the power of your legs when you stand from the squat to finish with your biceps by your ears. Just like with the front squat, you want to employ your breath, and boy, you will need it, you guys. Take a breath into your belly at the top, holding it as you lower into your squat, and exhale as you stand up to press. Here's the how-to on how to properly perform this specific exercise. Holding a dumbbell in each hand, rest one end of the dumbbell on top of your shoulders, stacking the weight over your wrists and elbows facing forward. Stand with your feet slightly wider than hip width apart and keep those abs tight. Keeping your chest tall, push your butt back and sit into your heels until your thighs are parallel to the floor or your hips are below your knees. Avoid allowing your knees to flare out to the sides or for them to cave toward your midline. Press your feet firmly on the floor and drive powerfully through your legs to stand and press the weight overhead, finishing with your biceps by your ears. And that is how you perform a thruster. Next, pretty common move, we have our bent over rows. After all that pressing, now it's time to balance it out with some pulling. In a bent over position, it's important to maintain a flat back and keep your hips and shoulders pointed down. Shift most of your weight to your front leg and avoid rotation by making a fist with your non-working hand and tensing up your core. So here's a how-to on how to properly perform this exercise. Hold a dumbbell in each hand and stand with your feet hip width apart, slightly hinging forward, torso parallel to the ground with a small bend in your knees. Hold the dumbbells out in front of you with your palms facing in, keeping your back flat and shoulders and hips square. Pull the dumbbells toward your rib cage, squeezing your shoulder blades toward the middle of your spine and keeping your elbows close to your sides. Lower the dumbbells with control to return to the starting position. And that is how you get into a bent over row. Next, we have a double dumbbell Romanian deadlift. The Romanian deadlift offers many of the same benefits as a conventional one, but the stiff-legged position places special emphasis on the hamstrings and increases the range of motion of your hips and spine. Push your hips back and imagine you are painting the front of your legs on the way down. When you come up to stand, push into the floor to a standing plank position. So here's the exact how-to and how to perform the double dumbbell Romanian deadlift. Hold a dumbbell in each hand and stand with your feet hip-width apart. Stacking your shoulders above your hips, hold the dumbbells in front of your thighs, but keep your chest open by maintaining good posture. Keeping your back flat and spine long, hinge by pushing your hips back and softening your knees. Push your hips back as far as you can. You'll feel the load on your hamstrings and your glutes until your torso is just above parallel to the hips and the dumbbells are around mid-shin. Pack your shoulders back and down and keep your core tight. Engaging your glutes and hamstrings, drive your feet to stand back up, gripping the dumbbells tight, locking out your hips, and return to standing position. And then just repeat through and through and through. So you guys, I'm going to come to a very brief break right now. And when we come back, more on exercises that you are able to use at home with a pair of dumbbells.
Are you tired of the same old news? Are you sick of the seemingly endless political spin and negativity? The GSMC America's Still Beautiful podcast is a weekly news podcast covering all the top positive and uplifting news stories. We cover stories that will inspire, uplift, and remind you of the good in the world. Tune into the Golden State Media Concepts America's Still Beautiful podcast to get all the great and positive news stories of today. Download the GSMC America's Still Beautiful podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
Hey guys, and welcome back to GSMC Health and Wellness Podcast. We're going to continue on with this list here I have compiled of 10 dumbbell exercises you are able to perform in the comfort of your own home. All you need are a pair of dumbbells and a willingness to get this done. So the following exercise I'm about to mention is very similar to the double dumbbell Romanian deadlift. This is just slightly more challenging, and that is the single leg dumbbell deadlift. This variation of the deadlift is as much a challenge in balance as it is in strength. The key is to kick your lifted leg back with your big toe and knee pointed down as you lower the dumbbell on the inside of your standing leg. Be careful not to move the weight in front of you as you lower. Rather, it should be close to your standing leg and align with your ankle to ensure you're moving the load with your hips and legs and not using your back. So here's the how-to on how to perform this challenging exercise. Stand in a staggered stance by stepping your right foot back and to the right side, holding a dumbbell in your right hand by your right hip. Keeping a flat back and your hips and shoulders square, kick your right leg behind you slowly. Push your hips back as you lower the dumbbell towards the inside of your left ankle, slightly bending your front knee. Flex your back foot and keep your toes pointed down. You should be able to draw a straight line from your heel to the top of your head. Press your left foot firmly on the floor to stand and pull your back leg forward to the starting position, and then repeat on the right leg. Next, we have the dumbbell snatch. This is one of my favorites too. It's a heart-pumping movement, just like the thrusters we talked about in the previous segment. And this is a total body movement that I really enjoy. Another great move for building power in the legs is the dumbbell snatch. And it's a combination of a deadlift, high pull, and a press all in one. But the work should come from the lower body. It's like a zipper on a coat. You want to keep the dumbbell close to your body, moving it from the floor to overhead in a fluid motion. It shouldn't be choppy. Here's a how-to on how to perform a dumbbell snatch. Stand with your feet hip-width apart with the dumbbell between the arches of your feet. Reaching down, gripping the dumbbell with your right hand, keeping your shoulders above your hips and hips above your knees. Bracing your core and packing your shoulders down, drive up powerfully through the legs to stand and pull the dumbbell up and close to your body above the shoulders. Quickly punch the dumbbell overhead, finishing with your biceps by your ear. Then lower the dumbbell back down the same way it came up, and then repeat on the left side. Next, we have standing hammer curls. Hammer curls might look really simple, but bad posture in this move can lead to misusing other muscles and not engaging your biceps as you intended. Aim to keep your upper back as still as you can as you bring the weight toward your shoulder and move the weight with control on the way down. So as you're performing these hammer curls, you shouldn't be rocking your body back and forth. And that's something I tend to see a lot in this specific movement. So I'm going to explain to you guys the how-to on how to perform a proper hammer curl. So you want to stand with your hips under your shoulders and hold a dumbbell in each hand with your palms facing in by your sides and a soft bend in the knees. Anchor your shoulders down and pin your elbows to your ribs. Bending at the elbows, curl the weights toward your shoulders by using your biceps. And be careful not to use your wrists or, bend your wrists in any weird, funky way. Pause at the top before lowering the weights with control to your sides. And think about casting the dumbbells away from you to keep your elbows from moving away from your ribs. So you guys, that's all 10 total body dumbbell movements you can do in the comfort of your own home. Again, from top to bottom, you have your reverse lunge, then moving into your plank rows, front squat, single arm half kneeling press, thrusters, bent over rows, double dumbbell Romanian deadlift, single leg dumbbell deadlift, dumbbell snatch, and finally standing hammer curls. So all in all, a really solid list we have here of exercises that you are able to perform in the comfort of your own home. Let me know in the comments if you guys liked this workout that I compiled for you guys. And let me know also if you've tried any of these exercises and if they've worked for you, if they haven't worked for you, etc. So you guys, that's going to wrap up today's episode here at the GSMC Health and Wellness Podcast. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's topic. If you did, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, all of that good stuff because that tremendously helps the show. And I'll catch you guys here for the next one.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Health and Wellness Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.